Walking down these dirty streets, can't avoid the Sybaritic creeps.
Well, you know, the Dictators, we never said we broke up. We never broke up. We never said that's it. It's over. I had some business with Scott and Andy, and I just, you know, I had a lot of conversations with them, and I just said, you know, why don't we just play? Why don't we just do a thing? Let's get some songs. Let's put it out. We should do it. You know, because the band, the brand name of the Dictators is big. And Andy goes, well, we're going to have to, the only way we're going to do it is with the original band. And I go, okay, that's the original band. So, you know, we had a falling out with Manitoba. I said, who are we going to use for drumming? And Andy suggested Albert. And I said, in 2 seconds, I said, yes, let's get Albert Bouchard. And he's my old, you know, I've been working with Albert a lot. You know, I had the brain surgeons with him. And he's a genius. I consider him unbelievably great. We're just going to get another guitar player, and for the tour and stuff like that. He's somebody with punk rock credibility. He's someone that people know. I mean, he's not a gigantic name, but you know, he's been a dear friend to the band for forever, and we'll let everybody know soon. We have to play, we have to practice, we have to do some rehearsing, we have to be 100% sure. But as far as writing songs and recording, that's a piece of cake. You know, we do that in our, you know, we're all involved. Albert's doing his Reimaginos and Blue Oyster Cult. I mean, everything, you know. So we've been doing this all our lives. Well, so far, there's 3 Death Dealer records. The third one came out November 18th, Conquered Lands. We recorded 2 more records, and we just recorded an EP. So the EP is the EP. I just did those solos and work last week on it. So there's 4 songs on the EP. There's albums 4 and 5 in the can. So that's all set to go. And I'm working on with Mark Lopes, working on a song or 2, because AFM doesn't want a new record, you know, because we put out Born of Fire March 6th, 2020, you know, just when the shit show hit. So there was, you know, I had a whole big tour with Burning Witches and all these bands, you know, whole big tour of Europe with a sold a shitload, you know, and nothing happened. You know, everything got canceled. So that record is a great record. And I am not touring on that record. We're going to tour on that record and probably put a new song, just like Testament is. Testament, you know, it's just in the same situation, because they put out a brand new record. They spend all that time, all that money and work on a record, and then you can't tour on it. That's ridiculous. You got to you have to use it. You have to use it. I'm not using it. You know, it was always that I would be in CBS studios. I'm such a fanboy of Buck Dharma, and he's one of my heroes. You know, because the first time I listened to him was the first record, 1972, and I immediately like, oh my God, and BOC, and so I was always in the studio with them, and then Albert, and we were in the studio making Dictators Go Girl Crazy down the hall, and it was like Albert would sneak in, Albert would look in on us, and I go, why don't you just play drums for us? You know, it's like, why don't you just, I wish if he would have been on Girl Crazy, it would have been a super hit record. I'm convinced of it. I mean, Stu Boy was okay, but I mean, if Albert would have been on Girl Crazy, I think the band would have been big, really superstars. So in my mind, it was always, I got to play with this guy, you know. And then Albert brought me in and goes, come to my house. He lived in the village. Come to my house. I got this cassette thing you can record on. It was like 75 or something, and I played on it, and he's got it. It's called Sinful Love with Helen Wheels, and so ever since then, I mean, he's like, my two favorite guitar players are Buck Dharma and Ross the Boss, and so we had this love going back such a long time, and of course we did all those shows with them, like. I gotta be 100 shows with BOC, Blue Oyster Cult, Iggy Pop, Thin Lizzy, AC/DC, Kiss, Uriah Heep, all these bands that we played. So I've been playing. I know Albert for such a long time, and then we did the Brain Surgeons, and I think we made a great record. And that's not. I got plans for that, and and then of course the Dictators, and it's been great. It's great. Actually, I'm going to Albert's on Monday. I'll bring my Spanish guitar. I'm gonna do something with a song on what Joe wrote. Knew of us. I mean, the fact that we did California Sun and they all of a sudden do California Sun on their record, which is pretty amazing. I mean, it's by no coincidence that happened. I mean, they're from Queens, and we're from the Bronx. So the New York City spawned two home bands, two real bands. I mean, everyone else from CBGB's scene were transplanted. They came from somewhere else. So like Dead Boys, they came from Cleveland. I miss them. I miss Joey Ramone. I mean, he was such a good friend to us and the whole rock scene in New York City. And he was the party maker. He was the scene maker. Everybody would respond to Joey, anything that he wanted to do, we did it, come play here, he's the guy that's, got me to join Manitoba's Wild Kingdom again, We all miss him. I miss Dee Dee and Johnny and Tommy. As a matter of fact, Tommy, we closed CBGBs. The Dictators did two big nights, Friday and Saturday. And the last song Saturday night, the very last song, the last rock song played at CBGB stage was Blitzkrieg Bop. And we got Tommy to sing with us. Tommy came on, sang with us, and that's when I felt it. That's when I really felt it. It hit me that this was the last time I was going to play on CBGB at CBGB. We lost our home. It was a dump, but it was our dump. It was, whatever you say, it was just such a historical place. And so that would be the last time we'd be on the stage, and then shortly thereafter, Tommy passed from cancer. We were in the record plant recording Blood Brothers, our third record for Elektra, and they were in Studio A. We were in Studio B, East Street Band, and they were doing Darkness on the Edge of Town, I think. Yeah. They were recording Darkness, and like Clarence would be next door, and we would see Clarence, and like he would like, can I come over and smoke some weed in your studio? I go, of course you can. And it's like, and he goes, don't tell the boss. I go, don't tell the boss. I go, no, don't worry, Clarence, we won't say a word. And just tell Bruce that he should come and sing a little thing on our record. And then he loved the Dictators, and he came over and did it. It was like, wow. For him to do it like that, it was like, this is cool. I mean, this is so cool. And it was one of those great moments for us. I mean, I'll never forget it. I was in England. I was playing in Shakin' Street. I was their guitar player in a French band, and because Sandy Pearlman had also managed Blue Oyster Cult and Black Sabbath at the time, and Shaken Street. So he got us to open the Black Sabbath tour, Heaven and Hell, Ronnie Dio. And I'm like, I find myself in England opening up for Black Sabbath, my idols, you know, like, so Ronnie Dio, we're playing sound check, and Ronnie comes up to me and goes, you know, Ross, I know. He was so cool, so nice, so sweet. Comes up to me, you know, I really love the way you play guitar, and I love the New York scene, and I know all about the Dictators and Ramones, Patti Smith, and she goes, you know, but I got a guy on my crew. His name's Joey. He plays bass, and I think you two guys would hit it off. How did he know that? I mean, I you know, it's like, so I went and sought Joey out, and he was on the crew, and so we became friends, and we started jamming in Black Sabbath's dressing room, and a couple of days, couple of shows, we decided that I think it's time to do a new band. So I named a replacement for Shaken Street because I didn't want to leave them in the lurch. And we picked a time, and my last show with Shaken Street was Vinny Appice's first show with Black Sabbath. Amazingly. So we left the tour, and we proceeded to do demos, and I did a demo, and my friend Bob Curry, who wanted to do something with me. He was head of A&R at EMI Records in New York, and signed the band. And that band became Manowar. I say to everybody that I consider it an honor to play with my friends. And I consider Manowar one of my friends. I mean, I don't have a good relationship with Joey at the moment, but you know, I don't. It's not impossible. I mean, the only one that can do that is Joey. He say, "All right, let's you know, fuck all that. You know, life's too short. You know, until you know whatever. What if someone dies or something like that? It's over. You know." And so, I mean, I never say never to anything. You know, because as I told you, I'm a Boy Scout, and I just want to keep playing as much as I can play. You know, every second that I have one of these babies in my hand, I'm a happy guy. It's either that or a baseball bat. But anyway. I don't know. I wake up every day and I have a different opinion about things. I always thought that the Battle Hymns, it's the first record. I mean, it started it. I mean, it started pretty much power metal. And I would say Battle Hymns. But today I would say Hail to England. Hail to England is my favorite record right now. So just because of Each Dawn I Die, and, you know, Bridge of Death, and the tuning of my guitar and the way it is, and you know, just those songs were so amazing. So you know, that whole era, those 6 records, I don't think could ever be duplicated again by any band, by any metal band. Forget it. In my case, it's the bass player in both bands. No, serious. I would say my singer, the lead singer has to have the ego, but like in my band, you would think that I would have the biggest ego when I don't. I'm probably the most humble person. All my friends are humble because I don't put up with that around me. And I would say, yeah, historically, it's the bass player. Biggest mistake in my career. Well, I've made a couple, boy. Let me tell you that. When I produced Anthrax, right? I produced Anthrax and got them signed to Megaforce with John Z. And John Z just told me that, you know, it was because of you I signed Anthrax. And they were, you know, of course, Metallica was in the picture, and Metallica was going to ask me to produce them too. And the fact is, I think that something happened, or I don't know. I never wound up doing it. I mean, you know, looking back on it, I should have pushed that. I would have been on Metallica, like ants on honey, you know, a beast of honey. That's probably my, you know, man, why was I so just not aware of that? I mean, you know, but the Metallica thing, and walking away from Manowar, and well, because I was fired, but the whole legal thing, letting it go. I should have prosecuted it more. And but that's just that's a private issue. But I've made some other mistakes too, plenty.